Welcome to another installment of Amerex Connections, our podcast where we connect industry experts with industry professionals in the field. Today, we have with us Mr. Brayden Banks. Mr. Banks is the head of our fire extinguisher product development. Brayden, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm actually from Jasper, Alabama, so an Alabama native. I went and lived in Mississippi for a year right before I kind of worked here back in 2021. Graduated from the University of Alabama, so roll tide to you Tide fans out there. Actually studied, wanted to kind of be in radiology and wanted to do bio pre-med. Switched over to engineering, which was kind of my backup plan. But sometimes plan B becomes plan A, and I just kind of fell in love with engineering, dropped pre-med altogether, became a chemical engineer, and then graduated in December of 2019, so right before 2020, right before the pandemic. So really, really fun time to graduate, David.
Yeah,
really
and good time to enter the workforce too,
Absolutely,
wasn't it?
yeah.
So once you joined Amerex, what was your first position with Amerex?
So I started back in September of 2021 with Amerex. I was the compliance engineer, and if you don't really know kind of what compliance is about, I didn't either when I first started. So bunch of standards, kind of upkeeping of what we do that needs to be in line and compliant with different standards like UL, NFPA, things like that. But working in the product development engineering team, working with Kendall Pate, working everybody over there, so great team. But moved over from engineering, made the jump from engineering to sales. Sometimes some people call that the dark side, but I call it the fun side. Going over to product management is where I moved to.
And what experiences as the engineering side have helped you in your current role as product manager?
I mean, tons. First of all, learning how to use a spreadsheet, that's fantastic. But applying engineering principles over to different things with sales, data, kind of looking at the different things that we need to understand here. But with engineering and being in compliance, you have to work with a lot of different types of departments and a lot of different types of people. So it was great to kind of integrate, use that experience into product management because, product management at the end of the day is just start to finish, procurement all the way to shipping and sales and everything in between.
During your time as a product manager, you've had a couple of different products that were released. Could you tell us about some of those?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest ones is going to be the 10-pound Z Series, that just being a unit that we wanted to expand upon a line, that being high performance. We wanted a unit that was going to be with compliance flow, but a step above standard. That being that it's got the zinc polymer coating that the rest of the high performance line or the Z Series specifically have, but has the same footprint as one of the number one most sold units in North America, that being the B456 10-pound unit.
Can you elaborate a little bit on really what is the importance of the Z Series?
The Z Series is important because, you want to be able to kind of push the envelope and you're thinking, okay, there's good, better, best. High performance is the one that's going to be the best. You're looking for all different types of applications such as offshore oil rigs, anything offshore, coastal, anything that's highly corrosive environment. You're looking at a zinc polymer coating like I mentioned earlier. It's all brass valves. It's got a gauge guard for the gauge. We also do a couple of things like a rubber foot stand, so if it's dropped on its bottom or you can throw it around, whatever, you can do whatever you want with it. The unit's going to last. The biggest deal with that is that we offer a 12-year warranty, which is, in this industry, kind of above and beyond what's normally offered. I know we typically go until, the first reservicing at the 6-year breakdown for most units, but with the 12-year warranty, we cover corrosion as well, which is a really big deal because it's backed by UL and the UL verification mark that you can see on the nameplate.
And I know within that there are some subcategories of compliance flow, fast flow, or high flow. What are the differences there?
Absolutely, and I'm glad that we named them the way that we did. They're a little confusing at first, but when you kind of understand where it is, it kind of makes sense. So high performance covers every single one of those, that being compliance, fast, and high flow. But it breaks down to the Z Series is going to be the zinc polymer coating, so that's short for Z Series. What that means is that compliance flow is going to be compliant to basically the standard stuff that you're looking at. Aluminum, brass is going to be similar discharge results or discharge performance there. But moving over into a fast flow, you're thinking of specialty fire extinguishers, what's required there for three-dimensional fires with obstacles in them. It's going to have to meet or exceed a 1 pound per second per NFPA. So that's going to be something that's going to have a pound per second or higher discharge rate and performance. And we're talking about at 50 feet here, so 50 feet with, something that's moving at a rate of flow of over a pound per second is quite impressive. But high flow is a subcategory on its own, separate from Z Series, meaning that it also still has that performance. It just doesn't have the zinc polymer coating. I think there's a really big opportunity for applications there in the high flow. So it's going to be just a step above our standard units.
Mm-hmm. What are some other, in addition to Z Series, what are some other products that you're very proud of?
A couple of other products that we kind of pushed out, developed in the last couple of years is going to be Halotron BrX. One of those is that, we have now fully enforced kind of the aviation side of it and all the certifications we've looked into there. With that, it's been so popular, we wanted to move it to the commercial side of things. With BrX being such an effective agent, we wanted to kind of do that in tandem with what the increase in data center, buildings that have gone up now. And so, we're kind of loosely tied to the construction of those. And so with data centers, server rooms, and everything kind of being bigger with now AI, things like that are moving forward, we wanted to kind of give an answer to, well, hey, you don't want powder on it, you don't want it to get wet, and you still want it to work. Clean agent is a huge option for that. So we brought BrX from aviation and all its aviation protocols and certifications to the commercial side of things.
Could you tell us a little bit about the HT Series?
Absolutely. And so, like I said about data centers and things like that, it's going to be a clean agent, meaning there is no cleanup. With BrX, the effectivity is similar to what, imagine of Halon. Halotron 1, and Halotron BrX are kind of the big three, clean agents that we have offered and now still offer. We got rid of Halon. We've moved forward since that, moving into Halotron 1 and Halotron BrX. BrX is kind of the biggest one we're pushing right now. Halon, talking about atmospheric lifespan, Halon has an atmospheric lifespan of 22 years. So if you had a kid 21 years ago discharged a unit on their birthday or when they were born, that's still in the atmosphere today. It's actually quite insane. But moving forward to that, Halotron is about 3 years, which is insane. You move forward to that, to BrX, 7 days, 1 week, which is impressive.
Much more environmentally friendly.
Exactly.
Great. Of course, another question that is on everybody's mind. What about flammable metals, Class D hazards?
Absolutely. So Class D hazards are what we're going to consider kind of specialty. They're separate from every other class, and they only carry that Class D specification. That's because with Class D, very reactive metals, very hot fires, you're typically, as a consumer, not going to see a majority of those, but that's a faction or a sector of the market that has that. And we've got answers to that. We've got two 30-pound units, a B570 and a C571. One a Class D salt, and then the other being just a copper powder agent. I do want to say that that's used for different things like sodium, potassium, lithium metals, but I don't want that to be confused with lithium-ion batteries, that's for sure.
Entirely different. Absolutely.
Entirely different.
Absolutely. You just mentioned lithium-ion batteries, which is on everybody's tongue.
Yeah.
What do you see with that? What do you see happening with those?
That's probably our number one, I'd say, highest or largest customer inquiry right now. We go to trade shows, we get call-ins and things like that. Everybody's looking for answers as these become more and more prevalent, and as they become more prevalent, there's also potential for lower quality items or things to hit the market, which means they're not having these safety standards that the majority of those larger industries are seeing and completely necessary, I'd say. But what we're doing right now is we don't have anything specifically when we want to recommend out there because there is no answer. We're working in tandem with a bunch of different task force, between UL and NFPA. We're trying to make sure that there's a standard out there that's repeatable, that's testable, that everybody can test to. So we're not trying to put the cart before the horse, that's for sure. But we've been doing testing here internally and externally, trying to find an answer for everyone.
As product manager for Amerex portable fire extinguishers, what do you see the future being?
We always want to hit the three big pillars that we talk about every single day here at Amerex, and that being, quality, innovation, and before I get to the last one, which is typically our biggest, is that, we always talk about quality behind the diamond. That's what really matters. And so we focus, as a product manager, I want to make sure from start to finish that we're getting high quality material to make high quality product. And it's easy. It's really easy with the great team that we have here. And with that, we've got a great engineering team, and those are the innovators. If you're not pushing the envelope, then you're being stagnant, you're sticking behind. But when you have quality and innovation, typically that kind of gives you the third pillar, which is great customer service. And we always want to make sure that we're not leaving any customer behind. I know we've been seeing some issues with production right now, and we always want to make sure that we're being transparent and the customer knows exactly what to expect with us.
That is excellent. Thank you very much for joining us, Brayden. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. You as well, David.
Make sure you join us next time for Amerex Connections.